We're invisible.
Everybody's invisible. Why?
Yay.
What did Nemu's Wild Magic do?
Oh, because I
again?
renamed it.
Oh, you should have done that.
I renamed it. Oh, yeah. Duh. Alright, let's turn on Jack's Bear. Jack's Bear. And we're down to 3. Cool. Alright.
3 variant tiers.
Yeah, I know. Variants are shrinking.
The best variants anyway.
Oh yeah, before we start, we are not playing next week.
We're not?
We're not playing next week
Why?
because somebody is getting an education.
Someone's getting an education.
And then I know Christmas, like November and December are always so up in the air all the way through New Year's, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking December tomorrow. That's right.
No one is allowed to say Merry Christmas until tomorrow.
No. Happy holidays.
We stuck our Christmas tree up like literally the day after Thanksgiving.
I know, I resent you.
Well, this year, so I'll tell you the reason I did. It's out of pure laziness. So first off, it just comes out in chunks and you just stick one on top of the other. So it's super easy. Secondly, the box was literally sitting in our living room for like a month and I got tired of seeing it. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting this tree up this weekend. And by putting it up, I mean putting the chunks together and then plugging it in.
Took 2 hours to fluff the bitch.
If you care about such things.
Otherwise, like
Yeah.
all the branches and everything are just like squished together, and it's just like these little pods of branches sticking off the tree.
So imagine, this is a perfect example of how different we both are, right? I take it out of the box, I stuff it together, I push them down, and I'm like, plug it in. Beautiful, walk away. She's over there for 2 more hours separating branches and fluffing them up, and I'm like, why? What a waste of time.
Because it looks so much better.
But that's my mentality, and it's just funny, you're so much different.
Oh, I always do that with the plastic trees that fold up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to like
have to.
separate the branches so you
my
can
God.
put ornaments up.
Yeah, so it looks full. Otherwise, it's just literally just sticks. Fuzzy
Yeah.
sticks.
Guys, would you separate branches?
I will never put up a tree, so no.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
No trees? Wow.
I stopped putting
Yes.
up a tree last year. I was just too lazy.
Well, I guess when you have kids and Christmas is like...
That's the only reason I do it. It's for her. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, no one's coming to my house ever, so I don't need to do
Yeah.
anything.
What if you
No.
get married?
Well,
What
then
if you
I'll
get
have a whole
married
new,
to like that...
I'll have
to
a
like
whole
that-
new raft of problems to deal with.
Yeah. Wait, what if you get...
And end up getting married to like Martha Stewart.
Wait, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, you're gonna get married to this chick that you absolutely adore and that you love so much. You know what she's in love with? Words
Wrapping a
on
tree for 2 hours?
signs. Words on signs.
die,
And
I'll
pillows. And little sayings all over your house and kitchen. All
Like,
over
oh,
your
like,
bed.
strip
All-
Decorative pillows? God,
yeah,
gag me.
decorative pillows.
Live, laugh, love all over the house. Fucking bullshit.
Like on the doors,
cry.
this wreath that says "Welcome home, your family."
One of those people that celebrate Christmas all year round.
Yeah.
Or every holiday, like every
Eggnog
2 months,
for
the
breakfast.
house is redecorated.
Oh my
My mom's
god.
kind of like that, so I could see it.
That
Oh,
would be
no.
so funny.
Sounds like a weird version of hell.
It would be so
I swear
good.
to God, if you, thankfully, like neither one of us will ever come home with the live, laugh, love fucking.
You did put a sign up with words in my house. The
Which
living
one?
room.
Oh yeah. It kind of. I don't know. What did that one say?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look at it.
And he bought a sign that has the state of Illinois on it
Yeah.
with the word home.
Oh, you gone too far.
I know.
It's a bit
Fall
much for
into the
me, yeah.
deep end.
Follow your soul. It knows the way.
gone too far.
It has gone too far.
Gotta put him down.
Chaz does not look amused.
Chaz looks very angry.
No.
Get the
Fill it
shotgun.
up with milk. Put it in the microwave for 2 minutes.
I'm never gonna tell you you're wrong or anything, but it's just not for me.
I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong, but
Yeah.
it's not
But-
right.
I mean, I get it. That was one of those ones. That was one of those purchases where it was like, it's like you're in a mood. You're in like a place with a bunch of shit. It's that stupid German store we have downtown. That's got all of the like. It's like walking into hell, because the entire thing is fucking signs with words on it. And in a moment of weakness, in a moment of weakness, I bought one of the set signs. But that's the only one that's up, because I won't. The words thing, I don't know. Some of those sayings are so bullshit. They're way too happy for me.
I have this sudden urge to make a lot of Pinterest boards and just randomly send them to
Every month instead of a new.
every month, every season. Be like, I curated this board just for you.
This is a January board. Here's the February board.
It's a plague.
Yeah. So good.
With a lot of Etsy links.
God. Make a special Pinterest site just for Jazz.
Oh, okay, I'm done. Sorry. Anyway.
So what are we doing? We're playing D&D, right?
Right, so last session. Very summarized recap. So, you're in Halcombe. You're talking to your new buddy Gallon and, Pepper. And you try to decide what to do with all the bodies, and quite a few of you believe that they should be buried.
As you do.
Jax takes it upon himself to ensure that happens. Creates a sinkhole, collapses said building that is holding the skeletons of the people who used to live here into the sinkhole, and then covers it back up.
I remember that.
After dinner and after dessert, Nemu begins playing his Song of the Souls. Are you having an old man pain? God damn it.
Wait, and just look over. It looks like he's
He's dying in pain.
suffering.
my elbow. Why is my elbow hurt? What the fuck?
Old man
Anyway.
down.
Yeah, old man down.
I thought you were supposed to be the young one of the group.
Is. My brother turned 40 today, guys. You know what I did at midnight? I sent him like 6 messages knowing he had to get up at 5 a.m. to go to work.
Awesome.
Anyway, so after dinner, with Gallon and Pepper, Nemu plays his Song of Spirits, and everybody kind of makes their way outside of the building to go do this and that and this. Dorus goes to meditate and try and connect with the spirits of the people who used to live here. In between that and Gallon still humming the song, Nemu doing Nemu things, an event happened where the spirits and ghosts of Halcombe could be seen in the events that transpired on that night during the Harvest Festival. Dorus tries to help in his way to that he always likes to try and help spirits pass on. To Carlos reminds him that it's none of his damn business anymore. And Nemu tries to do the same thing in a much different way, reaches through, and
Almost get myself killed.
Carlos is like, hey, didn't know you were gonna be here, buddy, welcome. And Nemu says, fuck that, and reverses out, causing himself quite a bit of damage and passing out after that. You all find him, recover, fun times. During that, Jax was doing his meditation and found some very interesting interferences with the land here, including an underwater river of kinds that, and multiple different springs that seem to be corrupting the area, and found that there was something out of balance. The vibe wasn't good. So, no reverse card. And so you all headed out to the field where he had found this anomaly and fought giant hogs that did crazy things and were able to get the residuum from the big guy, which I have added something to your character sheet for that residuum, for the force residuum, maybe. So I don't know if that was something that everybody had agreed upon, but I went ahead and added it because I was listening to it and doing stuff. But you also took a mushroom that you had found, as well as the contents of the stomach, back to the town, where you were supposed to meet back up with Jax, but Jax has disappeared. So you will find Gallon completing, packing all of his stuff up, and just as you arrive, he is putting his stuff into a beautiful hand-tooled leather satchel of some kind. So Ioe, you know that his equipment was like a master alchemist equipment that took up 3 or 4 large cases, and he's currently you can only see one of them, and he's putting it in this satchel. And all of the other ones seem to have already been put away. So as you walk in, he looks up. Well, how did it go?
I just placed the bag of pig guts onto the table.
It went well then. Y'all are all looking a little worse for wear. Yes. I don't have anything for that. I'm sorry. What is this?
I believe you put your stuff away too soon. This is some stuff we can make into other stuff using your tools.
He kind of looks around this very large, what once was somebody else's alchemist's office. There are still tools here. You seem pretty proficient. I really need to get on the road.
You were heading to the Mindrum Mountains?
Yes. Right, Pepper? Yes, that's where we're going.
We might follow you there.
Oh, really? That's...
Yeah,
Why?
we can protect you.
We think the source of water that is corrupting this valley, this town, is maybe up there.
And so you're just going to follow it.
We wouldn't be heroes if we ignored it.
True. Okay. I can meet you there.
Whatever you're more comfortable with.
Hearing some of your stories, traveling with you is a little hazardous to the health. And I personally am not a fighter. I might be big and strong, but I'm just not a fighter.
How did you hear of us?
Well, you told me some stories over dinner last night, right?
No, but you did not know of us before we were here, yes?
True.
We will take no offense if you wish to travel alone. It is fine.
Oh, good. Because I gotta tell you, it's a little intimidating trying to not offend a group of heroes, as you say.
Maybe we meet again then.
Good luck. Savelle is she sits down as Gallon begins to leave and just looks up at everybody. and then pointedly looks at Eoway. Also, hijacks.
Heyo.
What are your plans for me?
I'm not sure yet.
No, y'all are just all in the room. Alchemist.
Seville. Wasn't that a car?
It was a car.
Like a fucking Cadillac? Like the crappy one?
Isn't that what freaking 101 Dalmatians drove?
I think that was her name.
That was DeVille. D-E.
DeVille.
Yeah, never mind. It's close enough.
It was
I'm
the
really
car.
great with name recognition, guys.
Got it.
Yeah, so there's y'all are all just sitting in the room.
What do you want to do?
Living a life sounds interesting. Being dragged days northwest does not.
You don't want to be a hero?
She is not a hero.
She could be.
She is not. Nor
What if she wants to be? Like atone and stuff. I mean, maybe she could do good in the world to make up for all of the stupidity. I'm sorry, foolishness.
Her eyes cloud over just a little bit. It was. Oh no, I know. It was not stupidity.
What was it then? We haven't ever talked about what it was that you did.
If someone came to you months from now and told you everything that you had been doing, harmed others, what would you think?
I'd ask why.
And if they sold you off for slavery after?
That would be unfortunate. Were you sold for slavery?
It's hard to tell.
Were you, like, did you not know what you were doing?
I knew perfectly well what
Do you feel bad about it?
No.
Oh. So why haven't you walked away?
She looks down at herself and she's like tied up.
I tied her to the
Run
chair.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh.
like
Well, you
she's
know,
been stuck here.
somebody with your, like, you know, abilities, I'm sure you could have found a way at some point. But you just kind of sit over there sad.
I think you overestimate my ability.
Clearly. What can you do? What are you good at?
I would have said before that I was just intelligent.
And now? Do you think you're not?
Apparently not as intelligent as I thought.
So, I don't get it. What did you think you were doing? What were you promised?
I wasn't promised anything.
Refer to the first question, then.
She was totally gonna skim past that.
Were you controlled against your will?
Are you? You have changed the lives of everyone on Avon. I was doing no different.
Right, but, like, refer to the first question. Like, what were you trying to accomplish? What, like, specifically, not just broad terms.
I was trying to unshackle Avonvon.
Alright, Sylvanas. Trying to break the cycle of death. unshackle Azeroth
By causing more death.
by causing more death, by killing everybody.
Hey, you,
She's not wrong. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, but like we're winners.
We're just better at destruction than she was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, history's written by the winners. Nobody cares about the people that lost.
hey, people can't be in prison if they're all dead.
That's true. Well, so did you screw with the whole magical thingamadoohickey like I did?
She gets the slightest smile on her face. You don't just screw with the magical thingy.
I did.
You underestimate Nemu's level of screwing.
Pretty good at screwing with things.
We call him the screwdriver for a reason.
And you are even less intelligent than I.
Well,
At the seat of the land, was it you that messed with the seal on the top of the mountain?
Yes.
so, like, what was your end goal, though? What were you trying to do?
She just explained that to us.
No, she didn't. Not specifically enough.
Weaken the binds. Put enough fractures in something, eventually it will break.
But why?
Release the
then?
magics that are held within.
But I want to hear it from her.
I don't believe anybody should be imprisoned against their will when they've done nothing wrong. And all of Avonvon has been.
What do you mean imprisoned? I don't, like, imprisoned how? I mean, you're imprisoned right now, but, you know.
You have done something wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah, you lost.
Did your friend die?
I don't know.
The one she stabbed. Before the campaign started. Yeah.
What session are we on?
Oh no, I don't even know if EOA's told the story. Maybe briefly mentioned it.
All right, so I'm not completely, like, I have a terrible memory.
We
and I
did
don't pay
not
attention
talk.
to anything, but I don't remember
Well,
that.
Yeah.
We
If you
also
remember,
haven't
I have
really
history
talked to
with
each
her.
other.
Whoa. One at a
What?
time. Okay, Jax.
What did Jack say?
I said we really haven't talked to each other about each other's past, so
That's true.
What do you just do to stream?
I know, I'm like,
I don't know. I clicked on shield mode, and now I don't know what happened.
I am kicked out of chat because it says it's only for subscribers only.
Unfortunate. You should get a subscription to it.
Timothy, would you quit fucking with my stream?
Just kidding. I don't know, dude. I don't know what I did. Ah!
Oh
Okay,
my
hold on.
god.
There we go. Okay. All right. Hold on.
Did you fix it?
I think I fixed it. I think. Okay, you can watch again, Jazz. You've been allowed. Or not Jazz, Chaotix.
Yep. Well, I could still watch, I just couldn't comment.
Why don't
There,
allow
turned
the
it off.
peasants?
You're welcome.
I already turned it off. I thought.
I don't know. He knows more about fucking Disc or Twitch than I do for sure.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Oh, Seville.
Yeah, whether or not you talked about your past with her,
Yeah.
about your friend dying.
I don't know that he's dead.
So you left your friend to bleed to death.
That's why you hate her. That makes sense.
There was more pressing concerns. You stealing from us.
Wasn't yours to begin with.
It was under my protection.
You are more than welcome to try and retrieve it.
So I'm just curious, like, you're trying to, like, not imprison the world. Like, what do you think we're imprisoned for? It's very philosophical. Why do you say we're imprisoned?
Something that the gods decided long ago.
That we're in jail?
That we are not allowed the power that Alanvon should gift all of its children.
But that would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? Everybody's wandering around all willy-nilly, blasting shit with their eyeballs or something?
What is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish?
Restore balance, make sure everything's copacetic. We want things to be happy. I think that's what we're all trying to do. But certainly we just can't give everybody a bazooka.
Well, shit, when we started this crazy ass adventure, there was shadowy demon shit coming out of portals while people were sleeping and whatnot.
That's true.
So,
People's brains
yeah.
were being wiped and shit.
we're just picking up the puzzle
I need
pieces from the
soap.
broken shit.
We're
Keep
just
swearing.
fixing what you caused.
Yeah, like, but now if things are still broken and we're still trying to fix things, who's causing those broken things? And also, why is my sister not able to cross over? That's what pisses me off.
I don't know what you speak of.
I mean, I don't think you know what you were doing.
Perhaps not. Perhaps
yeah.
the person who gave me my orders knew what they were doing.
Or not. The guy that we're talking to seems to fancy himself as some sort of spirit god. Or whatever. What's his name again, guys? I can't remember.
Which
Which
guy?
one?
The
Which
spirit
one?
god one.
The Carlos?
To Carlos. There we go. I was asking the group. Not the GM. You're not here.
God, what is your name?
Yeah, to Carlos. He's like stopping people from crossing over after they've died. He's like trying to capture their spirits or something.
I know nothing of a person by this name.
Well, that's the guy we're after now. Kind of. I think.
There's also that freaky realm guy that Doris was connected
Yeah.
with.
That
I believe
dude.
that was the same person.
It's the same person, man.
That's
Oh.
the dude.
I forgot his name. I don't
The
think this
Carlos.
ball's working. Start flicking them, a little memory ball.
Just give yourself some calming tea over there.
Like random images flash in your head when you do that.
It's like an IV drip.
Yeah, it is. It's just like flick, flash, flick, flash. It's great.
It's awesome.
Green pants.
Yeah, exactly. Why was he wearing suspenders?
Oh, that was that one time when I got molested by vines.
Yeah. Oh, that was I tried to forget that one. So,
Anyway,
my original question stands.
which is what?
What are your plans for me?
I don't really care. But I'm not the one who got my friend stabbed, so like he's angry. I'll point it at EA way.
I would love to let you bleed out in the desert like you did my friend.
That's some eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth stuff.
But first, I need information where the artifact that you stole.
Why did you stab his friend? Seems
What?
rude.
The artifact. Not here. It's with Geo Invo.
Was that the dude in the blood area?
Yep.
I've got an artifact. It's broken.
God.
We keep getting tracked
I don't
by
know
it.
how to spell that, but he's the seed of entropy guy in the
Yeah.
Silent Ring.
You see the blood area.
The bubbling.
So do you still feel like what you were doing before was the right thing?
I feel no different about what I was doing. Who I was doing it for is a completely different matter.
So what you're saying is, left to your own devices, you'd probably continue down that path.
I no longer have items in my possession which to aid.
Would you try to seek out items to help? Or what would you do if you had your freedom?
We don't want to be cleaning up their messes next week again and again.
Perhaps I would end up cleaning up yours.
I mean, shit, if you're just going to be following us, you might as well join us. That is to say, if you want to turn things around, because after all, it is up to Yahweh over there. You've done him a wrong, and stuff like that, when it affects blood brothers, it ain't flying right.
I don't understand most of what Jack says, but it sounds right to me.
I just wish to be freed of this chair one way or the other. I have been given to Yahweh. It's his decision. Happens to me from this point.
Can I insight check to see if there's any kind of remorse and maybe she was just trying to put up a strong front?
Of course. Of course.
You do have that mind read ability, I believe.
I do, but I got good insight too. 15.
15. She's unsteady. You can see it in the way her eyes shift. Not maybe in the manner of her speaking. But she feels incredibly betrayed. It sounds almost as if she is bound to whatever what's their name? Arsis had said as far as the trade. So you don't know if it was some kind of like magical mage oath of what happened. But she is bound to Yahweh's decisions. And it makes her incredibly unstable. Not unstable as in lashing out, just she feels betrayed. She is questioning her leaders.
Hey fellas, I think we need to convene for a second away from her listening ear.
She just settles back into the chair, like trying to get comfortable.
I definitely tied that rope a bit too tight.
Yeah, just maybe. She's like, her skin is all chapped where it's been tied up. Her muscles are probably incredibly stiff. It's been at least 18 to 20 hours.
All right. So, are we all?
Yeah.
Group
Y'all can be.
Yeah,
We
I
walk
would-
outside for a minute.
Yeah, let's walk outside, but then still within line of sight of her so that we can keep an eye on her.
You can see that Yahweh, every time that we speak to her, that he's incredibly tense and almost ready to strike at any moment.
All right, guys. So, this is a double-edged sword. Obviously, Yahweh, you have a history with her, and it's not good. Nemu, what I meant by the stuff I said earlier is, if someone wrongs somebody that you care about, and we don't even know the whole story with Yahweh, but he was close to his friend. She wronged him, and that's hard to get over. I get that. But do we think that she's got enough helpful information in her that we might be able to use her spite against her old bosses to help us to stop them, or at least assist us in our endeavors?
That is the only reason I've not killed her yet.
I think the only problem with killing her is a moral problem, even beyond just killing her, because that's a moral quandary that I'm willing to deal with. However, killing her and then letting her like stay in between worlds and not pass on is that's messed up. Or as Jax would say, that's messed up, man.
What if I stab her?
Staying right.
What if I stab her and leave her here and it'll remain a mystery?
I don't know if that fixes the issue.
I mean, if we don't think anything else is gonna come from her, then yeah, Yahweh, you've got a beef to settle. But if you believe in any kind of redemption, there might be something to trying to somewhat forgive. I mean, you can bet your damn dollar if she steps out of line 1/2 inch of a hair, you better be chopping that bitch's head off.
1/2 inch of a hair?
Yeah, it's not very much.
It's not a lot. And she's already said that she would go right back to doing what she was doing.
Yeah, but doesn't it kind of fall
She
in
no
line
longer
with
has a
what we're
master that is more powerful to help her along her
That's
way.
true, but what's not to say that she would want to... She still clearly believes that everybody needs to have super magic, superpowers. Right?
Isn't that what we're doing?
This is not the same quest we are on, yes.
Exactly. If she already has a little bit of history with it, even though it's fucked up history, I mean, she did it wrong and created a problem, but if we can do it the right way and she knows ins and outs of how to get to what we're doing, it might be helpful.
Are we trying to release everybody's magic? Is that our goal? That wasn't my goal. My
I think
goal
we're
is
just
to
trying to...
people.
Aren't we just trying to fix the weave and shit?
I mean, the only reason we messed with it in this last place is because people were losing their shit. And I'm starting to swear like
Because it was
Jax,
corrupted there, yes.
because it was
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, but who's to say this other group, as they keep doing the shit they're doing, they're gonna keep on corrupting other parts of it?
So
I'd rather get ahead of it and fix shit before they start breaking it.
I mean, I don't know if you can fix something until it's broken. But I see what you're saying, Jax. I think if we let her go, she ends up going and finding a way to do what she believes in, and that could be joining another cult, that could be finding another master, could be doing whatever that she wants to do. I don't think she's going to want to follow us because we're not really doing the same thing she wants to do. We just kind of, like the last place, we just put it into balance so that people weren't, like all screwed up. So that people could have their sons and husbands and family members back. But I'm certainly not going to go around, what's this planet called again? Avonvon. I'm certainly not going to go around Avonvon and like release the Kraken,
Oh no, the only way she's seeing any bit of freedom is if she's helping us. Otherwise, it's either death or letting right judgment take over and imprisoning her for what she's done. And that might even be death too. Just one of them is by Yahweh's hand, the other one's by whatever kind of system they've got in this part of the world.
I've got to ask Dorus because he's got a different moral compass, I feel like, than maybe we do. What's your feeling, buddy?
Ideally, she would be judged by those who run the justice system in the offended nation or place. But this may not be, achievable.
There's only one other person in my part of the world.
How did you deal with it where you're from? Like your people?
It was only the two of us.
But do you have like customs amongst your clans or something?
Legal systems I'm not aware of.
So how did you deal with the ne'er-do-well?
What about code? What about standards of life?
Right.
What would you do with someone who killed a friend of yours in your culture?
I guess I would kill them back.
And was there any justice system for people that just willy-nilly kill people? Or was it just accepted, like if you like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth?
I'll remind you that I lived alone with one other person.
Right, but you have to know something about like the history of lizard folk, right? Like customs and it's unfortunate.
Did we get the sense that she ever worked with Munderic at all? Like together, or they were just different pawns in the same scheme?
Munderic did the interview with her.
Yeah. She was the one who convinced Munderic to be a spy for her cult. They're not a cult of fish.
Unfortunate.
I don't know if we can go back to the valley, but I think that's what Dorus would want to do, is imprison her with the people in the valley and like uncover all their crimes, kind of thing.
She is bound to me. I can send her back.
You can force her to return to Mazend.
What does she look like again? What is she?
She's a tabaxi.
She's Tabaxi.
That's right, Tabaxi. That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna boop her in her nose.
That's right.
Do you have a snoot?
Flick her snoot.
You got a spray bottle just to spray her with.
Yeah. Here's some catnip. Chill out.
Bad kitty lady.
That's right.
You bob her tail and clip her ears.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Because you could send her to what's his name? Plenty. No, Fayanti. You can tell her to go.
Yahweh, I think there's something you need to sleep on for the night.
It's nighttime, right?
No. Y'all had a long rest the day before. Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah. Y'all had a long rest the night before. They went to the fight, and you either slept in or were hanging out with Gallon, something, I don't know.
Gotcha. Look, it all comes down to one of two things. What do you want your legacy to be? Do you want to be known as someone who is ruthless to just make people pay for what they've done unto others? Or do you want to be someone with a moral compass, one who gives people second chances, or at least wants to answer dutifully under the law. It's all about your legacy, man. This is all up to you. She's bound to you. It only goes by your word. How do you want to be remembered? Think about that, and your heart will tell you the right way.
What would I know of the Vareki law?
The Vareki law would probably be a type of penance where, if somebody did wrong onto others, then they would either have to serve those people for however long to repay what they took from those people, or they could choose to fight to the death.
Like I fight her to the death?
It would be more of a like,
Or in service to me?
if the gods will you to live, you will survive whatever area we drop you in. Like a test of survival. Either that or repaying back what they took. In servitude. So they would never treat them poorly. It wouldn't be like they were like beaten and treated as like worthless slaves. It would be more they were just outside of society, and treated respectfully, but not as an equal. If that makes any sense.
I'm gonna turn towards her.
Okay, so we're going back inside?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into her eyes, cut the ropes. I command you to go face the monsters that you sent onto the hollow. Help the people.
All right. I shall do this.
We'll check on you in like a month or two.
And she will look around, gather what supplies, if there are any, that she can take, try and survive the trip.
I'll turn towards Darus. Can we use that key of yours to send her there?
It will send her inside of the seat if that is what we want.
There's
Or she
nothing
can
there
make-
she can harm.
Can she get out of there?
Yeah, you can will yourself. You can't go
I
anywhere
thought
else
it like
within.
took you to the platform on top.
No, the door takes you into the seat itself.
Yeah,
and then you
inside
can will
the
yourself to the
pocket
top.
dimension.
But the seat itself is they're all warded. So even if somebody does manage to get in there, they can't do anything without causing great harm to themselves. But they can will themselves out. It's not like you can be sent there as a purgatory.
Okay, yeah, if she can get out, then I'm cool with it, yeah. I will put the key into the wall as if it were a door and turn it.
The wall magically transforms into twisting living vines as the threshold. The door opens. Well, I now know how you got back to the temple so quickly. She takes a deep breath, gives one more look to Eoway. We'll step through.
He was so close to stabbing her.
Yeah. And if you choose to, you can close the door behind you. You will briefly glimpse that very familiar now golden pink light as she has decided to go up to the platform.
I try and just catch her eye, kind of like, I'm watching you sort of thing as I close the door.
She just kind of gives you a nod. And will go serve her sentence. Hopefully. Hopefully. No, she can't.
She'll probably die.
Yeah, she may not survive. But... Right.
Are they still being attacked by crazy shit?
There is still
They
some
will-
left after we left, I believe.
Yeah.
They're just not making new ones.
Well, and like these creatures are kind of like a plague right now of kinds. So they will always, for the time being, unless y'all find a way to fix it, they're everywhere. Y'all just met one. It's these twisted, strange creatures that have been infused by the magics that have been mixed here. So, variants, what is next?
I'll turn towards the rest and like, do you think that was a wise decision?
Only time will tell.
I mean, anybody that dies right now kind of sucks. So if she dies, that would suck. But I understand that's probably what she deserves, but dying normally implies that you move on to the next place, not or don't, and there's just nothing. But people are literally being trapped somewhere against their will, and that's like another form of slavery.
She'll die by her own mistake if she does.
Fair enough. But she may also die because she's just incompetent.
I know you said Fanti earlier. Is he one of the three, or is he just the innkeeper guy?
He's one of the three. He's the leader of Sarentor.
Would he be like a person that we could trust to kind of keep an eye on her, sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I left a
Especially,
note?
yeah, especially if you find out, if anybody finds out about Mundrick.
Yeah. Also, we want to tell him about Mundrick. I think would be good. I
Before
will.
she does leave, retcon, can we leave a note on her explaining
Yeah, you can-
everything?
No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I can fix this tomorrow. I will speak with Fanti. I cannot today, but maybe tomorrow I can do this.
Clerics and being able to pull new spells out of their books every day. Love it.
You mean out of their butts?
I mean, I said books. However you
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
that.
It's where their holy shit comes from.
Because it will take me a while to prepare the spell. I need to brush up on, the technique. I have not used it in quite a while.
Very good idea, though. I'm actually gonna make a note of that.
Not that I care, but it wouldn't serve her well if the people killed her instead of the monsters.
I was actually thinking of cursing her somehow, but it doesn't last long, so it's kind of worthless.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, the bestow curse is pretty cool, but it only lasts like an hour unless you cast it at a really high level.
It's called flavor text.
I was about to say, like, we might be able to flavor it. What
That's
did you
all right.
have in mind?
We'll just send a message to them tomorrow to keep an eye out from her, and I'll check in again, every now and then to make sure she's actually following through or not.
Okay. You turned it off? Turned it at 63?
Freezing my nuts off over here.
Jesus.
My computer with a 16-core CPU is blowing cold air.
All right. Savell is supposedly going to serve her penance by aiding those of Maze and Hollow and keeping them safe. What are you guys doing?
Should we spend the rest of the day, or I want to spend some time maybe making some potions and see what I can do with the mushroom.
Okay. Totally okay. Mimi, what are you doing?
Thinking.
Oh, okay. Dor, that's going to take a while. Dorus, what do you want to do for the remainder of the day?
I think it was Jax that had the idea of like following the water kind of thing. So I think
Yeah.
I would question Jax more. Like, you think we can do a little sort of scouting mission up the mountain? You know, not full ways, but see maybe where the water's coming from.
Yeah, I think there might be some interesting information to find from there. Because, like, right now, like, the underground system's, like, getting eroded away by too much, like, pressure and shit from underneath there. So, something ain't right with the normal run of things.
Yeah, so I don't want to like go all the way up the mountain or anything, but I think I would try and scout like if we can figure out where the springs are coming from or what kind of rock formations would be likely to house that kind of thing, like scouting basically.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good.
Seems like a good way to waste an afternoon.
So Nima will join you guys. As Nimu is doing Nimu things and she's bored. So Nima will follow you.
What is like the
What is the setting?
Yeah.
Okay, so Halcombe itself. Hold on, let me go back to my description of Halcombe. It's surrounded by dry and cracked fields, dotted with weeds, sickly-looking crops that are struggling to grow, dry irrigation furrows with many abandoned farms and ranches. One of those, of course, having the feral pigs with the chickens. And then the town, before it was run down, you can tell was just a functioning town mainly for the citizens here. They had large silos and a massive stockroom. You could probably assume people came through here to pick up supplies, or they delivered them themselves to large cities certain times of the year. But all of the buildings have been run down. The paint has faded. Many of the buildings have broken doors and just damage itself, probably that happened in storms that haven't been repaired because nobody's been here, and also during the fall festival that happened with the large fight. So it's kind of like a ghost town.
I think we like walking around looking for cool artifacts.
Should we
Cool
go
artifacts.
storeroom raiding?
Storeroom is buried.
All right.
Storeroom is
We buried
buried. With all of the bones and skeletons.
Maybe just like checking out the history of the area, maybe.
Okay.
Hey, you're proficient with archaeology. Let's go dig some stuff
Let's
up.
go dig up some bones.
No, dig up the storeroom.
Okay. So Eoway, roll your alchemy check with advantage. What ingredients are you working with right now?
Did I have stuff for health potions?
I don't know that you had stuff for health potions. You did create the ones in Bornshin, I believe.
I did
Or was
have
it
some Tulsi
Serentor?
plants. I didn't know if those were used for health.
Which plant?
The Tulsi?
Oh, the Tulsi plant is used to enhance potions. So it would take it from like a green to a blue or whatever that is. You have the mushrooms and the root vegetables. I don't remember what they were.
Okay, I was gonna use like the force energy in the mushrooms to see if I can either make to the enhancement on weapons or a resistance potion.
Okay.
Of course. Like maybe using Tulsi in the mushroom.
Oh, okay. So roll that's gonna be interesting. Roll with advantage. Let's
Okay.
see what happens.
What check am I making?
I don't know if we had decided this. I feel like there needs to be a skill check that is specifically for these kinds of
Medi-
things.
Medicine?
I mean, what is that? Wisdom or intelligence?
That is wisdom. Or I could do nature.
Looking at your character sheet.
Because I don't get advantage unless I'm proficient with a skill.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Let's do medicine with advantage.
Yeah, you
And
need
then-
like alchemist tools, right?
Yeah, he's got the tools.
I'm proficient. I just
Yeah.
with the way they work, if I'm proficient with a skill, I get advantage on that roll. Because if I do medicine, I can have advantage. Or I can just do a straight roll with advantage.
All right, I gave you an alchemy skill.
How do you do that?
You can now add custom skills. So I gave
Oh.
you one. The very bottom.
Let me refresh. Okay. I didn't know you could do that.
I know, I found it today. And I'm not going to tell you why. I'll let that come up naturally in the game.
Should I be concerned?
No, it's just for fun.
I'm gonna add something dumb like baton twirling or some crap.
Yeah, for sure.
Stinging ability.
Yeah.
I got a 19 then.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, 19. You begin working with the Tulsi flower in combination with the mushroom and just some of the herbs that have been very few, but there are some left here that you know as just common herbs that are used as base ingredients for things like oils. It doesn't take you long to figure out the formula. What does end up taking you a while is figuring out the balance of ingredients. There's a few times that as you start making this, just the concentration of the force energy alone, it causes some inadvertent reactions to happen. Like, you being blown off your feet, or somehow it reverses and sucks all the dust into your oil and makes it a murky mess.
I just imagine Emu hearing in the distance just window shattering multiple times.
Exactly. You just hear poof. But let's see, the mushroom was fairly large. Roll a d6 for me.
D6. 4.
You end up at the very end of the afternoon, you are able to concentrate down 4 oils that can be applied to, I think we had decided, your tail or weapon, which would give it a
I just remember that conversation.
yeah, I think it's a 1d6 bludgeoning, plus a dex save to be knocked prone,
Sure.
I think. So you now have a new bonus action. Just need to create that. Prone thing is the biggest, of course. And then you also have the Swiftsby roots. With that roll, if you wanted to try, you may have enough time to try something else, as Jax and Dorus are out scouting. I'm just going to assume that y'all are going to take the rest of the day and then long rest and then leave. So if you want to try making something with the Swiftsby roots.
Oh, can I tell anything about these roots? Like what they do?
You can taste it. Find out.
Okay, Hungry Jaws ability, let's go.
So you take a teeny tiny taste, and it is spicy. Hot. Not spicy like pepper hot, but spicy like, have you ever eaten like a slice of raw ginger?
No,
Okay, wasabi.
I don't like spice. You know this.
Horseradish. It's a different type of heat. Anyway, so it's got this strange spiciness to it.
It's called gross.
No, it's
This
amazing.
type of heat.
I love that kind of heat.
Let's just say I can imagine it.
Yeah. And as you
It's
do,
so bitter it makes your tongue angry.
like
So gross.
it, like all of a sudden you can just it clears out your sinuses and your throat opens up as if you can like take these massive deep breaths and you feel
it's
it.
kind of like going into a toxic wasteland and like breathing in all of those fumes, and you just like gag and want to barf all at the same time. That's kind of what eating wasabi is like.
No, it's not. It's delicious. But you feel, as you take this giant breath, you feel a brush of energy, as if somebody just dosed you with concentrated caffeine. It doesn't last long, but it is possible to make a haste potion out of this, if you wish.
I will try.
All right, let's use that new skill.
Okay then.
Oh, we could give a haste potion to the bear. That would be awesome.
That would be fucking amazing.
That is a 22.
Holy shit. Okay,
Almost a natural 20.
that's awesome. As you are creating, as you're running through this potion, you're buzzing. You've got this shit down. You know exactly what you need to do. Your mind is running like 10 times the speed it really should be. And you rush through, and by the time, I would say probably like 6 or 7, you have created 2 of these potions of swiftness. But how much of the Tulsi did you have?
I know I collected a handful.
Okay, so I
probably
will
used
say,
it all up.
yeah, you used all of your Tulsi and the Swiftbee. Now, if you wanted to go out and create and gather some more of the mushrooms and the Swiftbee, you can. They weren't like plentiful, but there were more. If you want to try and harvest them, you are more than welcome to do that, so that you have some left over for next time. But yeah, you have 2 haste potions.
Cool.
Very cool.
And then I'll just spend the rest of my time searching for more stuff.
Yep. Did you decide what you're gonna do?
I'm
you're
just
looking around.
exploring. Yeah, I'm just exploring.
Okay, so I need
I
you
feel
to
Nemo would want to explore the new areas.
so roll investigation. Jax and Dorus, perception, investigation, or anything that you feel is appropriate. nature, I guess. I see Jax's smile.
Nat 20
Very nice.
for a total of 26.
Wah, 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 wah.
All right, Dorus and Jax, you begin making your way. Now, Jax, when you had connected, it's a mile. It's very long. You felt these like spidering fingers from this underground river that you know came from somewhere, a natural spring of some kind, and you know it came from the northwest. However, trying to narrow that down, as far as being able to trace the source, you weren't able to do with even that amount of range. It is still limited on the scope of where to go. Nima is flying along with you, just kind of chasing little insects and flying around, enjoying herself. I didn't, Silas. I need to. Need to figure that out. Hold on, let me mic. But Dorus, one of the first things that you notice is roll investigation, right? You understand that if the water is close to the surface, then those areas are generally going to have like more greenery and that kind of stuff. So you begin just opening up your vision, trying to get a larger scope of what's going on, and see that in quite a ways in the distance, there seems to be a touch of greenery. This area itself, plants seem to be grayed out. Not quite gray, but they're muted. All the colors here are very muted, but just in this one spot, and it's a few miles away, you do see a touch more color than what has been in this area. Jax, as you're following along with Dorus, hold on one second. Click the wrong button. You see what he sees, but you also are able to notice exactly and feel exactly where underground these small tributaries have gone and where they end. The area underneath Halcombe seems to be the end of the main stream of water. It pulls underneath the area, and in some areas just pushes up from the pressure itself, which is why where the pigs are, they were able to stomp the ground and get water to seep up. Something that does concern you a tiny bit is there does seem to be a smaller, if it was above ground, you might call it like a trickling creek that continues to head south into that river or waterway. Not even sure if I named the waterways. I didn't. You don't feel any kind of pause or stop in the flow of water. It just almost rushes. You both finally make it to this tiny oasis of kinds, and the water here has seeped up and created a very, very shallow, though large pool of water. And around this, luckily, are not any creatures that can cause you harm, but the plants here have grown in strange ways. It's almost as if they have changed their shape to reach into the water. So all of the stalks or trunks of any kinds of plants that are around it look to have grown like out into the water and then come up to flower or to bloom their leaves or whatever that looks like. And the water is crystal clear, and though it is shallow and there is no wind besides a light breeze, the water constantly moves, as if on an open ocean or a large lake. You can see the ground below is just constantly being eroded away on the edges.
Hey, Doris. That ain't right, is it?
No, it's quite peculiar. May take a bit of sample. Let me see if I have a vial or something. And I'll reach down and try and capture some water in a little vial.
Okay. You can fill your water skin. You can fill whatever else you have on you.
No, I'm not going to drink it or anything. I just wanted to capture it and maybe see what it does
Okay.
later when it's settled, or just keep it if it turns out to be something weird later.
Okay. As you fill your vial and you just kind of look inside, it's still moving. The water doesn't seem to settle. And you can almost
This is
feel
even
the
more odd.
slightest vibration, like there's a pressure within the vial itself.
Can Nemo, like, can't he figure out like detecting magic and shit?
It's clear there's some forces at work here, probably upstream from here, I would think.
Yeah.
Does the water come like out of sight from what we can see? Like it's just still
It's
going
just
from.
seeping up.
Is it
Yeah.
flowing in the expected direction, or is it like flowing backwards or something?
No, it's not flowing at all. It's just moving. It's constantly got like small waves and ripples on it. The water seems to have seeped up just in a weakness of the ground itself, right? And created this, probably seeped up, and has slowly been growing outwards as the movement of the water itself, just the force of the water moving, constantly moving, has grown this quite large, very shallow pool of water.
Yeah, we're gonna have to head underground. You know that, right?
Is this most likely from aquifer or something like this?
Aqua, what now?
An underground river.
Oh, okay. Just say that next time.
So,
Hey, so-
Nima suddenly darts down and skids along the water and rolls on her back and like does this really strange imitation of a backstroke and begins kind of splashing around and then stops to take a drink.
Hey, nope, stop that.
I'm gonna try to distract her to stop her from drinking the water.
Okay.
I actually have an idea of how to distract her.
Okay.
When you do fairy fire, can you make it move, or is it just attached to something?
It's just attached to something.
Okay, but all right. Is there like something small nearby that I can cast it on?
Yeah, you
That I
can,
can, like,
cast it on
move around.
any of like the insects that are running around or flying around. Little dragonflies, not the dragonflies, but you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for like a stick or something so that way I can at least
Okay.
control it. But I'm gonna cast fairy fire on that just to kind of make something like a dog or a cat following a laser light, just to kind of get its attention and draw it away from the water to keep it from doing that.
Okay. As soon as you cast it, she notices this like brilliant light beam forward, and she leaps up out of the water, you know, dripping this glistening fluid from her wings, and goes to try and play with it.
Hey, come on. Gotta get it.
I'm gonna start like running back towards the group.
Doris,
She'll
gotta
chase-
keep it from drinking.
She'll chase you. She's having a grand old time. She thinks it's a huge game.
Yeah, I'd follow along too.
Okay.
This is actually kind of fun. I haven't felt like this in a while.
She flies down to your hair, and I'm going to assume that you don't cut your hair often. And as you're running
never.
and your hair is like flying backwards, she's like holding on to it. Now she's like kiting behind you. And you kind of hear like a slight chuckle in a like, you know, she's giggling, but it's in a strange, you know, dragon
I
face
thaumaturgy
way.
his hair to make it blow even harder in the wind.
So she starts doing like barrel rolls and stuff. It might hurt a little bit, but she's having a grand old time. Is there anything
this is
else,
gonna
you
be
guys?
This is gonna be a weird ass sight when we get back within line of sight
just
of
like
everyone else.
running. You're running back as Nima's just like kiting behind you. So Nimu, you begin searching around the area. Seeing what you had seen the night before in your vision, it's almost as if you are expecting many things that should be here that are not. Stalls for food, people running around, the feeling of life. You wander around this town, and it's very melancholy for you, especially considering the fact how attached you are to the idea that you need to free the people that are stuck in the shallows. You kind of wander in and out of homes where furniture has been left to dry and crack. Anything that had cushioned or had been stuffed, the fabrics are starting to rot away even now. Barely a year later, just this dry environment seemed to require constant vigilance to upkeep everything here. You find what you can only assume would be the mayor's office, or possibly the person who, like the bookkeeper of the town, who keeps track of all of the ins and outs of what they produced here, including the mushrooms and the roots and the few berries and mainly the herbs that they had here. It's strange. They seem to have notated that there were changes in the quality of the plants, specifically anything that grew on or under the ground years ago. And they had decided not to sell them anymore just this year, or this last year. So the Swiftsby root and the mushrooms specifically, they weren't going to be planting those for the next year. And they had noticed that their livestock too was acting strange. So they had separated them. And the livestock itself had stopped being sold already because of the strange effects. And there was a few notations about what it did to the economy here, how many people had started to completely redo their fields for something new and different, and they were testing new plants for the area. But there weren't just hogs here. At some point, not that you see them, there were sheep and a breed of cow that is very small that you would know from the desert. It's not great for, is the only thing that can really thrive in areas like this. Where those creatures went, you have no idea. Yeah, the pigs are the ones that you ran in. Though strangely enough, the chickens didn't seem to be affected. The animals themselves, they thought that they had culled out all of the ones that they believed to have been tainted, because they didn't see anything as a boon. And they took a chance after they knew it had been getting even worse, as they had been feeding their hogs from grain fields instead of just letting them freely root around, on the event that transpired the year before at the Harvest Festival, because they wanted to have a grand celebration. And it was not agreed upon by all. But as far as artifacts and stuff like that go, unfortunately, this is just not the best place for it.
So basically, I could gather that anything that ate from the land didn't end up so well.
Correct.
And they started to notice it. I tried to mitigate it, it sounds like.
Tried.
And it just wasn't successful.
There would even be reports of like sheep breaking out of pens, the cows, like mad cow disease type things. You know, just a lot of crazy stuff. And they would also have reports of strange creatures coming in and also ravaging their fields and slaughtering their livestock.
Right.
So they'd also been having problems with these strange creatures even a year previously. Not frequent, but enough to where this town was failing. For sure.
Okay.
So everybody meets back up. Nemu, as you're kind of making your way out of the last building that you had visited, you see Jax and Dorus running and giggling madly like little children, and Nima attached to Jax's hair, wildly just kiting around, and you can hear her very strange laughter as they run into town, all of them out of breath, but seeming to be having a great time.
Nima, you look like you're having fun.
You hear a voice in your head. Yeah.
Right. Should probably get some food for her.
Woo! Hey, you're gonna want to get her some water too. She's thirsty.
Not from this area.
No, that's actually why this
I take the stick that I had lit up.
The glowing
that's why
stick.
this was here. She almost drank from the fucked up water. I had to stop her. I didn't want anything to happen to her, you know?
Everything's pretty much fucked up. I mean, I found evidence of, I think it looks like anything that ate off of the land, including their sheep, their goats. There were goats, right? We'll say there were goats.
Sure.
Their goats,
Small
their
cows.
their tiny cows.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
But their chickens were
Pygmy
fine.
cows.
Yep, their sheep and their pigs and their pygmy cows. They all kind of lost their shit.
Yeah, that's because of the water ducks, or was that right, Doris?
It was the aqueducts, and I hold up
Aqueducts,
the vial and kind of move it a tiny bit, and then stop, and just to show them that it's still moving.
Well, I'm kind of afraid to eat anything from this place.
Yeah, that's a smart move.
They have a bit of rations left from Mita.
That's
Probably.
true.
We probably should have gotten good food before we came here.
She gave us 2 days worth of food each, I think, right?
I think so.
I wrote down 2 days worth of rations from Mita.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm gonna come back from the fields, probably covered in dirt and boar guts.
Yep. But you have a couple mushrooms to show for it, you know, big ones. And a few roots.
You're not eating any of that, Yahweh, are you?
Oh, I had some of this, and I pull up the root.
Oh boy.
Ah, shit. Anything grown in these parts are all fucked up from the water.
It's all tainted. All their goats and their pygmy cows and their sheep.
So, if you start feeling funny, you need to let us know right away.
I think you should have
to kill
some.
you. No, I'm just kidding.
You think you should
Yep.
have some?
Oh God.
That's
should
a
try
big
some.
no there.
It gave me a lot of energy.
Yep. First comes the energy, then come the shits. So, just hang on tight.
Did they get the shits? I didn't realize that was a side effect.
Maybe don't drink this haste potion then.
Did you make it with the water? Maybe it gives you super haste.
I don't think I used the water here. Don't worry, I brought my own.
Good. It's important to bring your own water anywhere you go.
Yeah, but, you know, we should probably fix the water problem, because, especially since it keeps moving, that means I ain't stopping just being here. Eventually, it's gonna make it to other places.
So, did you guys find where to fix it?
Sorta. It's in that direction. And then we gotta go underground.
Ooh. That's a deal breaker.
You not like tight spaces.
Not being underground, no, not so much.
Maybe it'll be cavernous and you'll have places to fly.
Or not. Or it's just gonna be tight and cramped and dark and damp.
That could be.
And I've heard about all the cave-ins that can happen. People get trapped underground when the rocks fall. They have nowhere to get out.
Yeah, but you don't gotta worry about that with me around. I can help.
Not that they fall and crush you first.
I'd like to see him try.
Maybe
That's
he can-
exactly what they said before it happened to them.
Maybe he can turn into a bear mole.
Ooh, a giant mole would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
But imagine the
Keep my
size
eyes
of a
peeled
bear.
for something like that.
A groundhog.
Giant fucking groundhog, Jack.
All right.
It would be good to make this city viable for resettling again.
Good.
I'm
beyond,
for it.
Beyond that, I suppose that the source of the water may be, some magical means of some sort.
I wish we had a way to analyze it to see what it is.
I could probably do something.
I hand the vial of moving water over.
Is it like ooze or something?
No, it's just water that doesn't sit still. It can't seem to. It doesn't like being contained.
I'm gonna try to boil some of it
Oh, good. Okay.
just to see what happens.
So
It screams.
Yeah, it screams. It's like,
Like a lobster.
Yeah.
So as it begins to heat up, the vial itself begins to physically shake as this liquid is already it's not boiling, but it has that same kind of activity. Fractures quickly begin to form in the vial as the water, before it even begins to get to a boiling temperature, almost seems as if it's trying to crawl out just from the overactivity of its like itself as the molecules begin to heat up. It kind of reminds you of PUDs, but
I was
not
just
quite as
thinking that.
sentient. Yeah. And it's trying to escape its confines. If you leave it, it's going to explode.
I'll turn off the heat.
Okay. Slowly, as it cools, the vibrations quiet down to where it's just that slight, just barely perceptible when you touch it, movement within.
I think this water is a bomb.
That'd be cool.
Sort of reminds me of the plants from that valley up the mountain. Where the plants were reaching to us and things. You know, they were almost sentient on their own.
Yeah, but they said that had been going on for a while.
But the same kind of animation, maybe, you know. Not that it's a plant is water, but same kind of magic's at work.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. Plants shouldn't be moving. It's kind of weird.
Neither should water without help.
Yep.
So, is there anything you wish to do before your long rest and a very short break?
I want to, if I can, on my own, sneak back to, not sneak, but take a walk back to where the pigs died, where we fought the pigs.
Okay.
And I want to wait till, like, dusk or early dark to do it.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want to cast, I think it's just called animate dead on one of the small pigs.
Okay. Okay.
God, it's undead bacon.
And he hasn't done this before, so he's like, he can feel the energy of the pig, like the life energy of the pig still hanging around, kind of, since it hasn't been dead long, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just want to like bring it back to life for a minute and see if it acts normal, what it does, if the spell even works, what happens.
So as you begin casting the spell, you see in this very torn up corpse of this hog, muscles begin to twitch and try to reconnect. Though of course they cannot. And once the final word in your spell is complete, the creature suddenly leaps up as if filled with some otherworldly energy and looks directly to you, and that strange black smoke that you are very familiar with just slowly billows or slowly trickles out of every single hole, tear, and stab wound it has.
I point towards the opposite fence of the field that it's in to try and get it to move over there.
It moves as quickly as it can, but the steps are unnatural and stuttering and very disturbing.
I didn't think this through. Can't just drop the spell and have it die.
Nope. Gotta kill it.
I will. Crap. Well, second level.
Again.
I'll go over to it and give it a nice pet behind the ears and say, "I'm sorry, my friend. I just had to know." And I will cast Inflict Wounds on it.
Okay.
to try and off it. It shouldn't have many hit points, I hope.
Zombies do, but we don't have to worry about that. So you cast
Yeah, it's just
inflict
a pig.
wounds. Yeah. And you reabsorb the energy that was used to animate it. And it's literally all of this strange black tendrils of smoke just wrapping back up into your hand, and you feel it return to you. And the creature reverses the process just much more quickly to collapsing, a few twitches, and then it is gone again.
Joke's on you, zombies have undying endurance. Back up to 1 HP.
Back up to 1 HP.
I can't kill the pig.
Can you imagine?
It just comes running back to camp.
The pig is following him because it's under his command. I can't kill it.
Oh,
no, no,
I can't kill
no.
the pig. Oh my god.
That's creepy and amazing.
All right, yeah, I wander back in.
Somebody's got a new pet.
I'm kind of examining my hand where the smoke went into my hand as I walk back in. And if anyone's still awake, I kind of like eyeball them and be like, I think our powers are growing. Can do more things now.
Who would still be awake?
I might be.
Yeah, like half talking to myself, half talking aloud.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's only dust, probably.
It would be pretty late after this. But yeah.
I might still be going just after like all this stuff that I found out today with, what happened with the town and stuff. I might still be awake, just thinking about it.
That they are. All right, quick break. Get up, stretch. I just need to stretch my back. We'll get back for the travels.
controversial the Earth is fucking flat or round, you're just a fucking moron. If there's nothing controversial about it.
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay, good. So
Okay.
that's ridiculous.
So, put that on my.
You might be an idiot if.
Okay. So, the night, of course, is quiet. Everybody is able to get a long rest. You are able to pick up your message spell if you wish, Dorus. And, before you head out, anything y'all need to do in poor little Howcombe? No, they were killed.
They were
each
killed,
other.
right? Okay. It was a sad play.
With the happenings of yesterday with Yahweh and the cat lady, brings up a good point that, like, we haven't really had a little, like, round the circle talk about, like, who we were before we started doing this. I mean, it's been a great couple of, what has it been, like, a week? Weeks? However long we've been together. It's been great and all, but I still, like, shit, Yahweh, I didn't know you had a buddy killed by her until you said something. I knew she'd wronged you, but, I mean, that kind of shit's good to know.
I don't know if he's dead.
Okay, well, she wronged you by hurting your friend. That kind of stuff we need to know about each other if we're going to be supposing to trust each other. You know what I'm saying?
Are we traveling and talking?
Sure.
I need an hour to change my spells around.
Okay, that's easy. You can say you did it before.
I got up early.
Yeah. I'm just checking, like, I'm just matching my notes up with conversations, guys.
How long did it
Alright.
take us to get to wherever we're going?
Um,
3 hours or so?
no, it's like a day and a half.
Oh,
It is a day and a half to the center of Mindra Mountains.
Perfect.
I thought we were going to like a tunnel or something.
Yeah, are we going all the way there now, or are we trying to trace this water somewhere?
It is both in the same.
Gotcha.
It's both in the same
Okay.
direction. We'll just put it that way.
Back
Okay.
to listening to you guys' conversation.
Yeah.
I
Traveling
think-
and conversing.
Dorus would say, yes, and I would also like to know what is this artifact you've referenced twice now.
I'm not entirely sure what the artifact is. But I was charged with protecting it. I don't know how long ago, before the campaign started. Let's just say a month.
Yeah, I think it was. Just a couple of weeks.
You think it's related? Maybe Karsus needed this artifact from her.
I assume so.
Why were you chosen to watch it? I mean, you said that you kind of lived alone.
Should I explain my entire life story?
Exposition dump.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you live alone, it seems like a weird decision to make you watch something that's important. If you're by yourself, usually there's strength in numbers to watch something that's important. So that's all I'm kind of wondering.
Well, there was only 2 of us. It still followed the way of the Rookie.
So who gave you the artifact then?
Well, I was more messaged by the Varaki to protect it. I kind of lived in their sanctuary.
See, now that makes a little more sense. Thank you for sharing that with us.
So, about a month ago, well, a bit longer, Seville came to us looking to research the Vereki. She spent some time with us, snuck into the temple, stole the artifact, and then fled. And then, in our attempt to stop her, my friend Wayless got stabbed.
And were you just in hot pursuit of her? Is that why you don't know what happened to him?
I left immediately to follow.
And then that's when you got brought into the portals, or how come you never went back to find out what happened to him?
You know what? Roll persuasion for me.
10.
He just doesn't respond to that. Well, in my pursuit, I eventually found Nemu.
And what were you up to, Nemu?
I mean, I'm only 14, so not much. You know, just exploring the area. Running away from what? Well, I'm kind of running away, I guess, but my parents were okay with it. They said go explore the world. But they weren't too excited because my sister did die at a young age. And they weren't like, you know, they didn't want to lose their other kid, but I think they understand. We don't live very long, I don't think. Like, kind of, you know, a lot of natural predators for birds. So
Travel the world with a lizard.
So
It probably eats your ancestors.
Probably. But I just wanted to see things, you know, like life's too short to be stuck in a hovel in the middle of the desert. Now that I think about it, must have been scary for my parents because I think that's how my sister died. She just kind of wandered off and then she was dead. I don't remember what happened to her. I was really young. My parents don't talk about it.
That's tough. But, glad to have you with us, Nemu.
You know, I'm just trying to learn about the world around me and stuff. Never thought I'd run into a bear person. Or a lizard. Or an elephant. Or a cat person. You know, we should start our own, like, kind of, like, you know, a place where they can kind of come and visit all the different diverse creatures of this world. There's so much diversity just in our party.
You're not talking about a zoo, are you? Lock people into cages so you can see the diversity?
Well, no, of course not locked in cages. Of course not. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's people that would pay to see the diversity of this world. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about a circus?
Oh, hell, if we wanted to start a circus. What's a circus?
Is that like a circle of us?
I think so. Just a circle.
The humans had weird habits whenever I visited their village.
Oh, I don't think I met a lot of humans.
I think Soli would know the most about that.
She's being educated. I am curious about Soli, though. Like, she kind of wandered off to be trained, and I feel like she's going to come back super strong, and we haven't gotten any stronger the entire time.
Curse you, God.
See you. Soli's going to be like level 13. We're going to be level 4. That's fine. Fucking hard
We
carry the
leveled.
entire game.
What about you, Doris? Like, how'd you come to be able to use the type of stuff that you do with all that black smoke and stuff?
It took many years of study. I've been apprentice at the council for over 30 years already, and they did not think that studying within the council was enough for me. They wanted me to go out in field and experience more how the magics are practical applications, you know. So they kicked me out, basically.
Huh. They just go and kick out the people they've been studying under?
Well, they call it field trials, so I'm technically still a member, but they would not let me study into the council anymore without field practice.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. Did they give you like a goal in mind of like, hey, get to this point and then you've been field practiced enough to come back?
It's all very vague, no. But I think it is, like field research is different than research from book, right? Practical applications of why things do what they do and why magics act the way they do can be observed differently in field. So it is a smarter thing to do. I understand why they do it. I prefer the cleaner way.
Yeah, hands-on experience, you can't beat that.
Even the short time we have been together has been very eye-opening, I have to say.
What about you, Jack?
I mean, it's weird, like I still don't remember them pretty much anything. There has been a couple things though, like, you know when we got to that place with the druid writings and I kind of just zoned out for a bit?
Yeah, it's like you were high.
Yeah, well, like
catnip for you.
I was hearing voices and it's weird, they could hear me. They called me General Mako. I don't know what the hell that is, but
A general?
I don't know if that was me or if they were talking to somebody else and it just kind of made it seem like they were hearing me. I really don't know. But it sucks. Like I keep getting little bits and pieces of who I really am. And then I just get thrown right back into the darkness.
What is your earliest memory?
I woke up on a beach, really beat to shit. There was this cat lady, her name was like, oh, I called her Dew, and she kind of got me back to health, and, I mean, in all honesty, I don't even know my name. There was a bag of Jacks on the table, and so when she asked me, I just looked over at that, and I'm Jax.
What's Jax?
This is like this little metal game she had. You like throw a ball and you pick up these little metal pointy objects.
That would hurt to step on.
Customs too.
What was it?
Sounds like it would hurt to step on. It's a weird game.
Yeah. She might have got it from
Little
one of the
caltrops.
She might have got it from one of the human areas because she told me to go find them if I wanted more answers, and that's what got me hitting the road. I really had no answers except for go find the other humans and the settlements and see if if I could find who I was.
I don't know a lot about humans. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember anything about the type of people humans are? Like
I
what
don't.
they do? What they like, what their customs are?
I don't. It drives me nuts. Every day I'm hoping for another little piece of the puzzle, but I haven't had any in a while.
Have you ever been to Duneborough?
No.
It is a village full of humans.
Honestly, other than Soli, I haven't run into any other humans. That's why I was kind of excited when we had her with us. But then she said that she lived with her aunt and uncle, who they weren't human either, and so it's kind of like a very short leash when it comes to knowing about humans.
Yeah, there don't seem to be any around this area. They must live in a different part of Avonvon.
Yeah, supposedly they're in like camps.
Camps? Like,
Yeah.
like labor camps?
Or like colony camps.
I think
Like
they more
hunting
keep to
camp.
them. They keep to themselves a bit.
I mean, the big one is they call themselves the displacements. So if I can find them, that might be able to direct me in the way I need to go to figure out more about who I am.
Displacements.
Yeah.
Were they displaced or do they do the displacing?
Your
Which is
guess is as good as
technically-
mine.
A derogatory term.
So, like, they're just like immigrants or emigrants?
Huh?
Are they like, what do you mean it's derogatory?
I don't think they're native to this place, right?
No. They're not.
Immigrants. Displaced from where was their original home then? That's a question.
Who
Saw
know
it.
this?
You fought there.
Oh, right. The dreams we had, where we were different people. I wonder if that's where the humans were from.
You're a very forgetful little bird.
Got a small brain, just like a lizard's. Technically, Darus is probably the smartest. He's got a giant head.
It's mostly ears, to be honest.
Roos's 5-head confirmed.
Well, I said he's
For
more like
sure.
a Billy head. Oh man.
So
As we walk, I'll drop back so I can cast ascending behind the group.
okay. What would you like to send to Fanti?
This is the variant. We release Seville back to Valley to assist with defense. Please see that she follows through. We'll contact again shortly.
Can he respond?
If
Yeah,
it's
I
sending
think so.
yet.
I think so.
The sending spell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can respond.
Understood.
Yeah, you can answer with 25 words.
Are we to ensure she stays alive? Or is she going to betray us again? How is this supposed to work? Variant?
Do I get the sense that he didn't recognize my voice at all, or
No,
what?
he did. He was like, variants? Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm not right. I'm not sending again. I only
Yeah,
got
that's
2
fine.
3rd level spells, so
Yep.
Does variant sound like a derogatory term for us?
Well, I mean, it
I
kind
didn't
of
want to
is.
use my own name, so I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah. You're the variants of the variants. So, anyway, as you continue walking northwest, and the day drags. Huh? A Vex? I don't know, maybe. I would assume
So
so.
we are the circus freaks.
Yeah, you are.
100%.
As you continue walking, the muted colors from Halcombe that suffused the ground, the trees and the shrubs and the grasses give way to gray landscapes, small stout trees and plants that all seem to be bleached of color. Erratic, strong breezes continually blow the further northwest you get. And as you continue on your travels, they turn into sudden gusts of wind, and eventually becoming a persistent gale blowing in the same direction that you are walking. Strangely enough, even with the winds, the dust seems minimal, as if the ground refuses to give way. The plants that have managed to grow here all lean heavily toward the northwest, as the winds have pushed them and they've adapted. And they've also adapted to have additional shallow roots or long branches to help them grip onto the ground. Buried rocks that you see turn into large stones and massive boulders that have been worn by the winds. Some seem to have been torn from the land and pushed by the gales into others that are held more firmly, causing groups of them to collect. Now these stones and rocks and groups become more and more frequent as you continue on. And the wind just continues to grow stronger and stronger. Because of these winds, sounds don't travel far, causing you, if you do wish to speak, to yell to one another. Nimu and Nima are unable to fly due to the strong winds. Nima takes shelter behind Atomos' neck, and as you all group together to be able to have some kind of conversation or at least communication between you all, occasionally you'll hear gasps or giggles and chittering coming from Nima, as it appears that her and Atomos are sharing stories. Every so often, one of them or both of them will turn to one of you with an amused and knowing look, apparently sharing some kind of entertaining story of one type or another that Atomos would know. I need everybody to roll perception.
17.
The horse has probably seen me naked.
Mm-hmm. You've had many travels with the horse.
Perception?
Yeah.
8.
10.
And Jax. Dorus.
We get flown off the mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 14 for me.
14. Jeez, guys.
I don't know if this would work at all, but I want to, like, I have the antler of the wind essence thing. Can I, like, infuse it with magic of some sort to, like, part the wind slightly?
I want to see you try. I'm just trying to decide what role you would make
Arcana?
to use. Yeah, I would say Arcana. This would have to do with obviously your runes.
Okay. 17.
Very nice. So in a very short distance around you, you are able to slow the winds down so you are at least not partially deafened. So I will say because of that, you can have another go at your perception check.
That was even worse.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So at least anybody that gets very close to you, y'all can now speak in a normal voice. And the very small bits of debris don't bother you any longer, like the small bits of dust and stuff that do get kicked up. Everybody would notice this.
Antler.
Yeah, antler, exactly. Just stick it on your head. Oh wait, you don't have hair to stick it in. I'll
stick it in the horse mane.
Perfect. You just have to stay really close to him. It's like maybe 5 foot radius. So you all see, as the day goes on, these strange creatures emerging from burrows that are angled up against the wind. One specifically tucks itself into a ball before riding the winds northwest, just tumbling along like a tumbleweed. Others seem to have also adapted to these strange circumstances. A mink or a ferret kind of creature, though longer and thinner, snakes along the ground incredibly low and then suddenly leaps vertically up before spreading out its limbs, much like a flying squirrel, to chase after spiders that are using their webs as kites. Dorus, you're watching some of these creatures and trying to spot amongst the boulders and stones that have created other mounds here in the landscape where these creatures are coming from and kind of just keeping a watch on them. And you begin to notice odd undulations along the ground, but underneath, and they seem to be moving purposefully, though in random directions. Suddenly, as you watch one of these rolling creatures that are on their way, the ground underneath them suddenly sinks, and large beetles begin to pull it under, leaving a cloud of dust to be pushed on by the winds. Emu, you, unable to fly, and seeing what everybody else sees, you're just watching the sky, wishing you could ride the winds like these creatures that have adapted. And something glowing within the winds catches your attention, but in the periphery. Every time you turn to see what it is, it disappears. You've had experience with similar things before, and you kind of relax your vision and try to focus on nothing in particular. And you now see these strange wisps, now visible, dancing within the winds. I need everybody to make a dex save real quick.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, it was almost an 18.
Nat 20. 22.
Nice.
9.
I got a 2.
You got a 2. Okay.
I also got a 2, but I got a +7 to dex.
Very nice. So, Dorus is watching these. His eyes seem to be tracking. That I would say, Nemo, you're the only one else who notices what he's tracking. It's very faint undulations under the ground, and then suddenly, Nemu, you see one of these strange wisp-like creatures redirect in its dance and head straight to Dorus and begin whipping around him as if trying to get his attention. You quickly realize why. As a creature that can only be described as a small, flattened bear that was drifting along the ground behind you, slams into the back of Dorus's knees, causing him to stumble and then begin tumbling forward from being pushed by the winds. Dorus, you're okay. Just took a little tumble. Is there anything anybody would like to do in this moment?
So the wisp warned us of the surprise attack or something?
It was just... It knew something was going to hit him. So was trying to gain his attention, but he couldn't see them. As they blend in. They're very faintly visible, only to like an unfocused eye, like on the edge of your vision.
I'm just gonna try to send my fiery chains at it.
At the creature?
Yeah, it was attacking Dorus, right?
Yes. Is it an attack save? It wasn't attacking. He was riding the winds and barreled into him, but yes.
Oh, well, I misinterpreted that.
That's okay.
Oh well, going with it.
Going with it. Oh, that's a 5. I'll die.
Dorus behind you. Takes out my blades.
Yeah. As Dorus is trying to get back up, and this small creature is like, gets up to shake. It's like a medium-sized dog. Gets up to shake its body. Like, the creature goes from this flat disc to like a puffy little bear. And it's shaking its body, trying to like keep itself awake after knocking into this giant creature. And all of a sudden, Dorus, you hear, watch out! And these red glowing chains of fire wrap around this creature. What damage does it do, DOA?
I first have to make an attack roll against it, but
Oh, okay.
that's a natural one.
Oh, okay, so luckily you miss.
It was a warning.
So the creature's shaking off, and these chains, as it's shaking, it's being blown around. These chains try to wrap around where it was before, and the creature doesn't even notice. And he just kind of looks up as Dorus is standing, and you're like, struggling against the wind to gain your feet back. And his eyes that were already large just get larger and larger. And he skitters off and jumps, and his body just pancakes. And he's like, rides the wind again, kind of skating low to the ground.
Does this look like one of the things that, like those things that I played with at the very beginning of the game? Little wind spirit things on the way to that.
The storm
first
spirits?
Yeah.
Yes. Similar, but different, as they are. There's no storm here. Just wind. So it's like they almost look like you were to pinch a tissue. And like how it kind of drapes down, but imagine that almost completely invisible. And there's just this small glow that kind of illuminates within, but barely perceptible. And that's just kind of what they look like as they flow around, and you see them kind of open up like jellyfish almost through the winds.
Hey, come back! I'll just kind of yell and start chasing after him.
Don't worry, Dorus. I scared it off.
Thank you. I thought you were trying to fry me for a second there.
As
This wind is no good.
these poor little creatures. Multiple different kinds of creatures now. You see some attacking each other, others having found incredible ways to hunt within these winds. So something that's very odd is any creature that does capture prey finds one of these burrows within the ground and disappears with it. Maybe not so strange, considering the winds would make it very difficult to eat without, part of the creature flying away. But the day carries on. And Nemu, you would be the one to see this as you're kind of running around trying to talk to these spirits.
Yeah.
A few of them will notice that you notice them, and will kind of like swirl around you, and you feel a slight change in the winds as they swirl around you and kind of make your feathers move. One of them will come up underneath your wing, feathers spread. And as you watch one of them dart away, you see in the far distance what could only be the remains of structures built by peoples. But the main thing that catches your eye is that along with whatever is left of this place is a huge tree, larger than any tree you've seen since leaving Mazent Hollow, which, because of the storms and the conditions there, some of their trees were incredibly large. All you can see from this distance is its skin of the tree is incredibly bleached, almost glowing in stark contrast to the surrounding grays and bleakness. And it has massive, dense leaves being flown like flags from its branches. And it is quite late in the day by now.
Do I get the feeling, like, just looking at some of this stuff, that it almost... So I just kind of get the feeling, just listening to you, that it's almost like the life has just been sucked out of this area.
Blown away.
Blown away. So, like, literally the wind or whatever has just blown away. But you're talking about bleach, so is... That's why that's why Nemu's original idea is that something created the wind and, like, almost the life force of stuff, and that's just where his mentality is right now.
Right.
So I don't know.
How big is this tree?
From what you can see, it is probably 200 feet tall, as Nemu points it out in the distance. The only trees that you have seen here are short, like shorter than Nemu, and very squat and thick so that they can stay within the ground.
Is it around the buildings?
It is somewhere close to the buildings. It's hard to tell with perspective and that kind of thing. Nobody rolled high enough.
Aw, sad.
I
Sad.
think we could find shelter in those buildings for the night.
Might as well. It's really windy.
That
I
or a
can't
cave.
fly. I don't know. Maybe it seems to me though that it's always windy here, given what everything
I'm-
looks like.
I'm also not sure that the wind will subside.
With some rest, I can do some stuff to help control the wind, though.
Nice.
Well, let us see if we can find who is here, or if anyone, or at least take shelter in the buildings for a second.
I'm okay with that, and I'm like trying to yell over
Yeah.
everything.
Everybody's yelling.
Yeah.
And I'll like
Unless you get really close to Eoway.
head towards whatever's the nearest building looking thing.
All right. So it's deceptively far away. So the light begins to dim as evening is approaching. As you make your way closer, you see crumbling and worn stone walls that once surrounded what looks to have been an outpost of some kind. There's large gaps that have formed as time and winds have forced the stones to fall. And even in some areas you see where boulders have been blown by these strong winds and created gaps within the walls themselves. As you get to the edge of this outpost, you begin to hear the whistling and singing of the winds through the remains of this place, making it even more difficult to hear. The remaining structures seem to be fairly sparse. And then you realize that beyond the single tree, anything made from wood has long since turned to dust. This place seems fairly old. As you crawl over some of the stones of once was the outer wall, the first thing you notice is where a building you assume must once have stood. There is a sunken area that may have once been a basement, but if you needed shelter, it could be used as such from the winds. From what you can see, there isn't a lot that is standing enough for all of you, including Atomos, to find a comfortable place other than this little hollow to be blocked from the winds. Something that you do notice, however, is there are holes that go into burrows of different sizes dotted everywhere you can see. I need everybody to roll either investigation or perception.
Four.
Ooh,
Eight.
dirty 20.
10.
What did you get, Dorus?
8.
Nice.
I was rolling good at the beginning of the session.
I know. I know. It's okay.
Quickly went downhill.
So, Dorus and Iwe, as you're just slowly making your way into this area, gathering some information by vision, looking around, these sounds just filling the air around you, you notice that areas blocked by that there's some areas blocked by stones, and some of the still standing ruins where the wind is blocked, you see various tracks and marks that almost look like something has been dragged across the ground here, leading toward the center, broken up where the wind and where the stones don't block the wind, they just obviously are erased. Jax, being a little bit more in tune with nature, even as strange as this nature is, you're trying to understand why there are so many burrows here, and just looking at each one individually until suddenly a creature is thrown out from one of these holes, and it is blown directly to the large central area where you can assume was once a yard for training or gathering or something, because it does very much look like it was an outpost. Watching this creature, you realize it's either unconscious or dead. It tumbles forward, then suddenly disappears. You look around and realize all the holes are positioned to allow the same kind of thing. Nimu, you kind of crawl up one of these large stones to get a better look of the area. Not by far, so that you don't get, blown and tumbled into whatever's in the center of this old outpost. But you notice that by some trick of perspective, what nobody else can see that you can now is that the land rises just enough towards the center of this outpost to hide a gaping hole in the middle. What you first thought were just stones and rubble piled along the other wall where the wind blows against, you now see are plates from some of the creatures that you saw, carapaces, and bones. You follow just the vision of the strangeness and look up to the massive tree, and suddenly all of the leaves retract into the heavy branches, which look more petrified than just bleached wood. The tree itself appears to shrink as the branches pull back closer toward the trunk as the wind suddenly picks up even stronger in a violent burst, and the ground begins to quake ever so slightly under everybody's feet. Around you, massive amounts of creatures are pushed out of every single burrow of every single size, all around you, and tumble straight toward the hole in the center of this area en masse.
They all dead or alive?
You don't notice any movement from them other than the tumbling from the wind, and some of their limbs are just not flailing under their control. The last of the sunlight fades, And then suddenly, the ever-present wind dies. You are left in overwhelming silence. A few creatures lying on the ground that haven't quite made it into the massive hole in the center. You feel this quivering expectation in the air, and then a low hum grows louder and louder. Eoway, you notice Atomos begins slowly backing up, trying to retreat behind any stones he can find that are large enough. The ground begins to shake even more, and the hum becomes louder until a sound like thousands of cicadas in late summer fills the air. Among that sound, you hear crunching, slurping, and scraping. Then the creature from the massive hole begins to emerge. A large, pointed, armored head, then followed by a rounded, scaled body on 8 short, clawed legs. Think of like an armored tardigrade, but with a pointed, plated head. The sounds of crunching and slurping continue. Doesn't seem to notice you, though it makes no chewing motions with its mouth. If you wait long enough, you watch as it begins lapping up the creatures around the edges of its burrow with one of its 3 long tongues covered in spikes. Within its massive gaping mouth, you see pieces of other creatures, some bones and carapace already stripped clean from the tongues, being pushed out the other side of its mouth with another tongue. Nemu, you suddenly realize where all of those carapaces and bones and plates that are bound up on the other side come from. The drone of the cicadas suddenly becomes a high-pitched whine as the creature swings its head back and forth in search of more food. It raises itself up on 4 legs, on 4 of its legs as its body seems to harden and the scales contract. And it slams down on the ground, causing a few more stones to fall, and the ground quakes violently under you. You all hear, underneath this overwhelming sound like these cicadas, faint coo-like purr underlays the whine as more creatures are pushed from the burrows, and they're not all unconscious or dead. And that is where we are going to end.
Some Starship Trooper shit.
What color is it?
What color is it? It would be the same grays and with a little bit of brown and black mixed in on its scales as the ground itself.
I immediately pictured a Tarrasque and I was afraid.
It's not a Tarrasque. It is giant. I mean, for those familiar with the D&D creature, a boulette. It's not a boulette.
I was like, oh my god, it's a giant bullet. It's gonna eat us all though.
But it is very similar.
Hide your horses.
Atomos already hid. Atomos said, fuck this. He felt the trembles.
Like, I saw Atomos backing up. I was like, I'm coming with you.
Yeah, you could have been retreating at the same time. Everybody could have been backing away and looking for cover at this point.
Like, I hopped on Atomos and just been going down the mountain.
Yep. So it will begin grabbing and slurping up all of these creatures, some of them struggling in their apparent not unconscious or dead state, as it makes its way to eat its dinner.
The animals have their god and they must sacrifice.
Yep, that is right. Going to be great.
Gross.
I love him. I love the 3 tongues. Come on.
Awesome. I think it's cool.
It's gonna be grand.
It is gonna be grand.
So that's what we'll start with next week. No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
I
weeks.
vote we run.
I think it might be too late, honestly.
So there is
How
one
is that
thing
we
here.
running?
There is one thing here. You have a direct tunnel underground that you know is quite large, Jax. So,
Roger more.
I mean, it is up to you guys. But the next question is literally, what do you wish to do? So this is not a fight that you have to take. It doesn't seem interested. Doesn't seem to have noticed you. It has its little cult of creatures that feed it. And, yeah, that's the only thing it's looking for right now. It does not understand that it might also be prey. Anyway.
Gotta catch up to Soli somehow.
Seriously. So
That's cool.
I will leave it at that. And I hope you guys had fun. I'm gonna end the stream. End screen. Click the button.
See you, everybody.